Hello everyone, very good evening and welcome to StudyIQ IAS English. I'm Abhishek Singh and today I'm going to discuss with all of you about our next topic, that is the Kushana's Empire. So dear students, as you all might be aware that we have already discussed the previous topics related to the Central Asian events, and in this lecture today we are going to talk about the Kushana dynasty, which had an impeccable impact on the cultural as well as upon the political history of our country. So make it sure that you join the session quickly and also share this session as soon as possible with your friends so that they can also join it along with you. And make it sure, very good evening everyone, Bulbul and Mantasha, good evening to both of you, those who have joined, good evening to each and every one of you. So guys, in today's lecture we will be talking about Kushanas, and before proceeding let me tell you something very important, that we are starting our morning batches, right? Because the evening batch is definitely closed. So the morning batches are now going to be started from the 11th of August, and you have got the opportunity, if the time suits for you, morning time, then you can enroll yourself in this particular batch available in the English and Hindi, these three, as well as there are multiple benefits, for example, like the comprehensive coverage of the GS subjects as well as the current affairs program. Also, you will be having the lot of opportunities to solve the practice tests, and not just for the prelims, but in case if you clear the prelims, this program has a special course for the mains called as the mains residential program. So all these great benefits which will be ensuring your success for the 2024 civil services examination, you can avail all these by using my code ASR Live, right? ASR Live, and that is available only on rupees 29,999 rupees costs. Okay, so make it sure that you take the benefit of this opportunity, and let us continue the lecture today about the Kushana Empire. Okay, so the first of all, the question arises that why this name Kushan? What is the meaning of this name Kushan? So guys, let me tell you, the Kushan is basically, it is basically the Sanskritized version of the Chinese name called as a Kui Shuang, Shuang, or somewhere also written as a Kui Shuang, okay, Kui Shuang. So there is this is just one version, right? Apart from that, if I'm talking about another accepted opinions, so here the name Kushana basically indicates the inhabitants who belong to the regions beyond the Kushas. Kushas basically the grass, right? That was specifically the grass that used to grow in the areas of modern Hindu Kush. And the people who belonged to the regions beyond that, they were also known as the Kushanas. These specific mentions are actually provided in the Puranic descriptions about the Kushanas. However, let me tell you that historians usually don't fall for that. All right, everyone. So now coming on to the historical context, as we all had discussed about the sequence of the Kushana dynasty. So you might be aware that the Indo-Greeks were followed by the Shakas were followed by the Parthians, and Parthians were followed by the Kushanas. So technically the Kushanas were the last Central Asian adventurers, okay, who had entered into India and established their authority in India. Now let me tell you one more thing. Why is Kushana rule special? So guys, remember that in history, any rule becomes special if it is contributing to the culture or contributing to the political expansion. So if I just talk about the contribution of the Kushanas, we can understand that they are very significant because they had contributed to one of the largest empire one of the largest empires of India. In fact, they were simply the largest empire builders among all the 4 Central Asian invaders. Not just that, their cultural consequences, their cultural significance, that is also highest amongst all the invaders. So basically, culturally they contributed a lot. Okay, culturally they contributed a lot. For example, the entire ancient Indian sculpture art that we usually categorize into the Gandhara and Mathura school of art, or the third one is Amaravati school of art. But if you have to understand these 3, you have to understand the contribution of the Kushanas in the culture, because under the Kushana rule only we will witness the impact of the Central Asian as well as the Indo-Greek features as well as the Greco-Roman features on Indian sculpture art, that will lead to the emergence of the Gandhara school or Gandhara style of the sculpture art. Not only in the field of sculpture art, but also in the field of military formation, in the field of the political formations, or I will simply say the statecraft. All these fields we will see, in all these fields we will witness the contribution of the Kushanas. Apart from that, the promotion of Sanskrit literature in Buddhism, that will become a feature during the Kushana period. The use of pure gold with very little impurities in minting the gold coins, that means the purest gold coins, that will be related to the Kushanas. So all these things will inspire the further cultural developments in the upcoming period of time, which means that Kushanas can be completely accepted as the cultural predecessors of the Gupta Empire, right? Like Gupta Empire provides the age of cultural supremacy in India. Similarly, the Kushanas will be called as the worthy predecessors who kept the foundation strong enough for the Gupta Empire to flourish on it. All right, everybody. So this is why this is very, very important topic. Now, let us understand about the Kushanas here. So after a brief stint of the Parthians over the northwestern subcontinent, the Central Asian tribesmen who belonged to the Yuchis or the Tocharians, right, they were now the next in the line to come to India, and they were basically the nomadic tribes. Nomadic means the one who keeps on roaming from one place to the other place. Okay, keeps on roaming from one place to the other place, has no permanent settlement. They are called nomadic. So they were the nomadic tribes. Good evening, Vishal. Nomadic tribes who were basically belonging to the Western Chinese regions and the Central Asian regions of the steppes geographical zone. And remember that if you watch this particular map, you will understand it. This is basically India. As you can see, this is the Himalayan region here, okay, Hindu Kush region. So basically the Kushanas belonged to this area which is lying in the Central Asia or the Western China part. From the steppes, from the climatic zone of the steppes, they decided to move further. And let me tell you, the Kushanas, before coming to India, they had become the masters of the entire Shaka territory. Entire Shaka territory was under their control, which means that the Shakas had become what? The feudatories of the Kushanas. Okay, everyone. What is the meaning of the feudatories of the Kushanas? Feudatories basically, they write the name given to the landed aristocratic ruler, okay, aristocratic ruling elite or ruling class, which acts as the local representative, of a powerful monarch. For example, if I consider that Kanishk was a powerful monarch, then he must be having several such feudatory kings or such feudatory princes who might be representing his authority over the different and distant parts of his empire. For example, if I see this particular map, I can tell you that here Mathura, okay, Mathura and the Begram, right, basically the Mathura and Takshashila, right, and Takshila, these were two important centers of his kingdom. And let me tell you that in these two centers, probably Mathura was more important towards the later period. However, in earlier period, of course, the northwestern territory was more crucial, so that might be the reason behind the higher importance of Takshashila. But wherever the king was located, that king had his representatives posted across the empire in distant locations. For example, you can understand that some of the representatives might be located here, some other representative might be located here or might be here. So any condition, in any condition, you can understand it very well that the local representatives used to represent the authority of the monarch in a remote area. But for the purpose of maintenance of the authority in that area, the local representatives were also given the power to collect the revenue, all right everyone, collect the revenue, to manage the administration, and the power of maintaining the army for the efficient discharge of their duties. Hello Rajiv. For the efficient discharge of their duties. Remember that if the local representative had the provision of army, the provision of revenue collection and the provision of the administration, then what else was left? What else was left? Probably nothing, because if the monarch became a little bit weak, then it was highly possible, it was extremely possible for the local representative to get dissociated from the central monarch, from the central authority, and to establish his or her own kingdom. All right. So this is the practice. This is the practice which we call as the feudalism. In the feudalism, the decentralization of the revenue administration and army, the decentralization of the revenue administration and army, that takes place. And dear students, the decentralization in the northern India, that started with the Kushana rule, in the southern India or in the Deccan area, the same practice was started by the Satavahana dynasty, who started gifting the land with the complete rights over the land, rights of revenue collection, rights of the maintenance of the land to different groups of people. So that is the time period. We can understand one thing, that around this time period, we can say that approximately 2nd century or the 1st century, okay, 1st century CE or 2nd century CE. Those who don't understand the meaning of CE, it is common era. You can also write it down as AD. Around this time period, you will start, you will see the start of the feudal system. So kindly tell me in the comment box, everybody just tell me in the comment box that are you able to understand the meaning of the feudal system? Yes or no everyone? Decentralization of the army, revenue, administration, that means the feudal system had started. Alright everyone, just tell me yes or no if you understood this. If you have understood this, then let us proceed further. But before that, just let me explain this map briefly to all of you. You can see here the Western Kshatrapas. The Western Kshatrapas were basically the feudatories of the Kushanas. You can see here the Satavahanas, right, Pandyas and the Cholas, and also the Sri Lankan kingdom called as the Tamraparni kingdom. These all kingdoms, they had started behaving as the decentralized powers, as they have started the beginning of the distribution of land. Now, anybody among you, anybody among the spectators or the viewers can ask a question that, sir, what was the exact reason? Why did the decentralization begin in the Kushana period? What was the reason behind the beginning of the decentralization of the land? So let me tell you the exact reason behind the beginning of the decentralization. That could be anything, but the most important things were the first of all the expansion of the agrarian land, and availability of the population. That was a bigger reason than anything else. Remember that the agrarian land was now continuously expanding. If we compare it to the Mauryan period, remember that despite the larger empire under the Mauryan period, the area under cultivation, that will be greater in the Gupta period or in the Kushana period as compared to the Maurya period. Why so? Because more and more land that will be under the cultivation, and when you have the greater cultivation, the bigger area of cultivation, it becomes difficult for you to manage each and everything. Therefore, it is very important to assign that part of the land to the local caretaker who will try to manage that land, try to administer that land, and also try to collect the revenue out of it. It is exactly like a condition where you start a company and you start expansion of your company, but at certain places the business is very high, it's very large. So what will you do? You will start a regional office and you will simply deliberate that regional office under one of your trusted friends or one of your members of the directors, right, board of directors, anybody who is able to handle that business, that regional office on your behalf. But there is a possibility that if you or your family is now in weaker condition, that regional office, who is handling that regional office, can also capture that. This is a possibility, isn't it? So same thing, the expansion of the agrarian land and the population, as well as the huge empire, that will also become a reason behind the decentralization of the kingdom. The third point is very, very important to understand. Guys, remember that Kushanas or Satavahanas or Shakas or even Guptas, none of them belonged to the socially higher categories. None of them belonged to the conventional Kshatriya categories, which means their social acceptability was subjected to the happiness of the aristocratic classes, of the higher authorities, higher varnas in their kingdom. Are you able to understand that? Suppose if I am not from a ruling elite class, but I become the ruler, then it becomes difficult for me to manage the ministers and the purohits. So what will I start doing? I will be starting donating the land. I will start donating the different gifts or different type of authority to the people. That will become the primary reason that why would the Satavahanas or Guptas, why would they start donating the land, start donating the wealth and other forms of the property to the different higher varna people. Okay, everyone. So that means to get approval of the highest social order, as they belonged to, right, as they belonged to the unconventional ruling class. Okay, so these three became the reason, right? These three became the primary reason why did it start. Now moving further, and let us have some factual details about the Kushana Empire. So guys, Kushana Empire was basically the cross-regional empire, expanded from the river Oxus to the river Ganga and from Khurasan up to the Pataliputra. Okay, from Khurasan up to Pataliputra. In fact, here it included the areas belonging to the the Stan countries. The Stan countries basically included Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, etc. and Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. All these countries of the modern world, they were either completely or partially the parts of Kushana's empire. Okay, everyone. Who was the first ruler in Kushana's dynasty? Now let me tell you one thing, that basically the Hyraios, right, Hyraios basically, whatever you can pronounce it, that person was the first ruler. But in case of India, the context of India, particularly Cadaphyses first or Kuzula Cadaphyses is regarded as the first ruler. All right, everyone, regarded as the first ruler, followed by Cadaphyses, right, Cadaphyses second. Basically here, remember that one name Vima Takto was the second ruler, but not for a long period of time. It would be the Cadaphyses second or the Vima Cadaphyses who will become acceptable for a longer period of time as the next great ruler. But the greatest Kushana ruler, he was Kanishk the Great, as you can say, right. Usually we call Ashoka the Great, but sometimes there is a perception amongst the historians that if Ashoka was great for his humanitarian approach towards his subjects, then even Kanishk should also be considered as one of the greats. Why? Because even Kanishk also had the similar approach towards his subjects, towards his kingdom and towards the people in general. All right. So Kanishk was basically the son of Vima Cadaphyses, All right, everyone. So he was the greatest ruler in this dynasty. And if I talk about Kanishk, why is he called as the greatest? So remember always, as I told you, that in order to be considered as the greatest ruler, the one has to make some significant contribution to the history. Most importantly, the humanitarian contribution or the cultural contribution. If not humanitarian or cultural contribution, then definitely the political contribution, which means the great empire builder. But luckily, if we talk about Kanishk, he was not only a great cultural contributor, but also the great empire builder. Kanishk, he actually supported the great cultural mixing of the Central Asian, Indo-Greek traditions into the Indian traditions, as well as he also gave the shelter to the different, in fact he gave patronage, I would not say shelter, but he gave patronage to various scholars in his kingdom, in his court, who became the greatly famous for their works that they did. Even the great scholars of Ayurveda like Charak, they also belonged to the court of Kanishk. Okay, scholars like Ashwaghosh or Vasumitra, they also belonged to the court of Kanishk. Okay, so apart from building a huge empire that was ranging across the Central Asia and Northern India completely, including the Iran and Afghanistan as well, but apart from building a great empire, he also supported the cultural growth, right? The support of the empire and the cultural growth that was founded on the basis of the economic progress that was achieved during the Kanishk rule. Okay, So what was the most important source of the economic significance, right, of the economic prosperity that Kanishk had ensured for his kingdom? Guys, remember that his father, who was the first ruler to issue the true gold coins. True gold coins. Remember this point? True gold coins means the uniform in the shape, size, dimension, weight, and in the appearance, right, as well as the consistency of the metal, that was also uniform. Apart from that, Kanishk is well known for being the master of the silk route. All right, everybody, silk route, or also known as the Silk Road. Silk Road. Now, those who don't understand the Silk Route or Silk Road, let me tell you that Silk Route or Silk Road, right? Silk Route or Silk Road. These were basically those locations which were across the entire trade route which was connecting the China and India with the Roman Empire. All right, everyone. So here, if I am talking about the decline of the Kushana power, so Kushanas were basically replaced by the Sasanian power, Sasanian power, which emerged in the Iran, and they replaced in the northwest, right, in the northwestern area, the Sasanians replaced Kushanas. However, if I am talking about the upper and mid-Gangetic plains, so remember that in the upper Gangetic plains or the Punjab plains, right, the Kushanas were replaced by the dynasty called as the Murund, Murund dynasty. I am very sure that many of you might not have even heard the name of the Murund dynasty, so remember this name, it is very new for many people. And mid-Gangetic plains, the Kushanas were replaced by the Guptas. Eventually, the Guptas will become the master. They will become the masters, or master dynasty. Why so? Because they will replace the Murund dynasty as well. All right, everyone. So eventually, we can say that the Guptas became the ultimate successors of the Kushana dynasty in the Indian history. Briefly, the Murund dynasty as well as the Sasanian dynasty, these two dynasties had also acted as the successors of the Kushana dynasty in North India. All right, everyone. Talking about the future of Kushanas, so Kushanas were uprooted from most of their areas, but they continued up to the rule of Samudragupta. Even then, they continued ruling in the smaller locations, smaller parts, in small principalities like in Bactria region or in Kabul region, in Samarkand, Central Asia, all these places. Later on, as we all are aware that these Kushanas will be uprooted by the Hun dynasty or Hun rulers. So who will be these Huns? We will be talking about them when we will study the Gupta Empire. Last effective Kushana ruler, last powerful Kushana ruler was Vasudev II. Look at the name. The first name Hyrieus or Kuzula Kadphises, this type of strange names. But the last ruler Vasudev. Or even that, then the Kipunad was the last ruler. Practically, after him we don't have any trace of the Kushana dynasty's names. All right, everyone. Now, after that, let us understand the features of the Kushana's administration, about which we have talked in the beginning itself. So first of all, we will be talking about the coinage and the religious patronage. Everyone. So as far as the religion of the Kushanas that was concerned, they patronized every single religion which was existing as a major religious group in their empire. Be it the cult of fire worship in the Iran, be it the cult of Buddhism in the northwestern India in the Gandhar region, or the cult of Bhagavatism and Shaivism in the northern India as well as in the northwestern India. Okay, so therefore the coinage of the Kushanas, the coinage system of the Kushanas that indicate the presence of the Shiva, okay, the Shiva, you can see the specific identity of the Kushana coin having this rounded beads like structure, and here the Kushana god Shiva is indicated as Lord Oshio, right? Lord Oshio, okay, Oishio, okay, and not just that, you can also have the similar coins indicating Lord of Moon. You can see the moon god, okay, the moon god. So he was known as the Mayo, right? Known as Mayo. All right. Apart from that, there were other gods who were also depicted upon the Kushana coins, and the Kushana coins had the images of the sun god, fire god, then Buddha, okay, Shiva, then Lakshmi, and also Vasudev. Okay, so Vasudev, Krishna, Lakshmi, Shiv, sun god, fire god, Buddha, and not only that, even the Indo and even the Greek god, right? Greek gods were also there. Greek gods were also there. Okay. However, when I am saying the Greek gods, remember that this phrase should be understood as the Greco-Roman, okay, Greco-Roman or Hellenistic god. Okay. For example, they had the images of Apollo. Not just that, even the god Mayo, who is considered as the moon god, is supposed to connect with the Apollo as the moon god. All right, everyone. So what does it indicate? It suggests that the Kushanas were probably multi-religious, okay, multi-religious and tolerant right, rulers who promoted the coexistence of the religions together, coexistence of the different religions together. Okay, everyone. Apart from that, if we talk about the coinage system, their coinage system was very enormous, extensive, right? Extensive coinage system. Their coins usually had the weight of 8 grams to 23 grams. Okay, so they were relatively heavier coins, and not only that, they were having the purest form of the gold, okay, purest gold content. If we compare their coins with the Gupta rulers, their coins were far more pure and far more uniform as compared to the Gupta rulers. Okay, everyone. The coinage also had the images of different gods and goddesses, images of the gods and goddesses, and the ruler with the name, okay, with the names. Remember that the name of the ruler, the name of the god, these things were described on the coin itself, due to which we can understand the name, because it was usually written in the Greek script, Okay, everyone. However, at places we have also obtained the coins of Kushanas having the Kharoshti and Brahmi scripts, but the maximum number of coins they have the Greek script. And from that what do we know? We know the names of the gods, rulers, and the time in which that was issued. Okay, everybody. Talking about the trade and commerce, remember that there is a thumb rule. There is a thumb rule that when the circulation of coins is higher, right? More circulation of coins. Remember that more circulation of coins is equal to the more trade and commerce. More trade and commerce. Okay, everybody, and vice versa. And vice versa. So if there is a great distribution of the coinage in any kingdom, in any empire, then we can also say that the trade and commerce must be in a flourishing position. And if the trade and commerce is flourishing in position, so that must mean, that must be understood as the great circulation of coins in any normal condition, any normal condition. So Kushanas, they had the control over one of the greatest routes of the trade in the world, that was called as the Silk Route or the Silk Road. If you look at this particular map, you can understand that in India, the Silk Route was connecting with Ujjain, with Sarnath and Patliputra. So Sarnath, Ujjain, Patliputra, these places were connecting with the Srinagar, Leh, and moving to the different parts in the Central Asia located at Yarkand. So the route coming from China via the Gobi Desert, via the Altai and other Central Asian ranges, moving through the Samarkand, Bukhara and Hamadan, moving to the different parts of Iran as well, and finally reaching to the Mediterranean Sea. Right, everybody? This ancient route, if we can look at this greater map, you can understand it very well, that starting from the Tamralipti, okay, starting from the Tamaluk or Tamralipti in Bengal. Remember that it was a very important seaport here. Then moving to the Sarnath, Mathura, and via Takshashila, moving to the Balkh in Afghanistan, and further to the Tashkent, Bukhara and Kiev. So Tashkent, Samarkand, Bukhara, Kiev. Remember that these four places were the greatest cities in the history of Central Asia throughout the ancient and medieval period, only because of the great trade taking place between the Chinese region and the European region of the Roman Empire. Okay, everyone? So these were basically the places where the taxes were collected. And remember that during the Kushana period, this entire region was the part of Kushana dynasty, Kushana Empire. So you can understand the extremely high or very large collection of the taxes, from the Silk Route, you can understand that how well would it have paid to the Kushanas, and this is why they became fabulously rich dynasty. And when they became fabulously rich dynasty, now they did not want to take the burden of managing the far and remote areas. Rather, they decided to deliberate or dissipate the smaller and further regions to the local feudatory chief, and that became the reason of their decline in the long term. Alright, everybody, I hope you are able to connect the dots here. Now, when we are talking about the dissipation of the Kushana power through the allocation of the local landlords or the local chief over the different area, this is the system which we call as the feudal system, if you remember that. Guys, whenever there is the feudal system, let me make a diagram that will make you understand better. Suppose this is the empire. This is the empire. Here it is the ruler, okay, and his empire. But he decides one thing, that he will distribute his empire into the various small areas, and each area will be assigned to the subordinate ruler who is called as the RS1, okay, and so on, RS1, RS2, RS3, okay, and so on, RS8. Remember that in this condition, what will happen? In this condition, the subordinate ruler, the ruler subordinate, okay, he will be under the supreme ruler, okay, ruler who is called emperor. So now you can say that RS will be having, right, his counterpart. So everybody, RS1 is equal to RS2 is equal to RS3. So can you understand that all the rulers of the different areas, they are almost similar in the power, similar in the position, similar in the authority, similar in the income. Is it so? Yes or no, everybody? Yes or no? Right? So when they all are similar in the position and power, okay, they all are similar in the position and power, all right, position and power. That means if the emperor wants to make his position little bit better than the rest of the people, what will he need? He will be needing the huge title, the huge titles. Okay, everybody. So this will become the beginning of taking the huge titles, right? Humongous titles showing the greatness of the ruler, showing the divinity of the ruler. So remember that when everybody is a king and someone wants to outshine his own identity, someone wants to establish his own identity, then it is necessary that the particular person should be distinguished with the help of certain exceptional achievement. For example, the Kushana rulers took the titles. Okay, everybody, Kushana rulers, they started taking the titles which were very pompous and they indicated the divinity, etc. Their titles included the Devaputra. Okay, Devaputra. All right, everyone, Devaputra. What is the meaning of Devaputra? The son of the god, the son of the deities, Devtaon, right? Devtaon ka putra, Devaputra, something like that. Not only that, they also held the titles such as the titles like Shah-o-ne Shah, the titles like Shah-o-ne Shah, Shah-o-ne Shah. What is the meaning of Shah-o-ne Shah? Shah-o-ne Shah is very similar to the king among the kings, or Rajaon mein Raja, Maharaja Dhiraj, right? Maharaja Dhiraj. So guys, the beginning of taking such titles where you are showing that you are the supreme king among all the ordinary kings. You are the supreme king, okay, supreme king among all the ordinary kings, among all the ordinary kings. Okay, so that is basically the meaning of the Shah-o-ne Shah, and this tradition will be continuously utilized from this time period onwards. Kushanas will start it, and the Guptas will continue this, and Harshavardhan will be continuing this, and the Rajputs, they will be further continuing this up to the end of the medieval period. Every ruler will try to take the similar titles where he will try to indicate that his position is higher than the position of the other kings. All right, everyone. So that is the beginning of the showcase of his higher authority. Remember that. Okay, everyone. So that is the meaning of the feudal system. Now, what is a dual rule? Dual rule is basically when the two rulers, they are ruling simultaneously. For example, the Vima Takto and Vima Kadaphysis were basically ruling at the same time. So that makes a dual rule. All right, everyone. Then the scholars who were getting the shelter or patronage in the Kanishk's kingdom, Parshva, Ashwaghosh, Vasumitra, Nagarjun, Charak, right, Mathara and Greek engineer. So all these are very factual things that you need to learn. And the last point is very, very important to understand the assimilation into the Indian society, which means that eventually when the Kushana rule declined, then what happened to the Kushanas who had come from Central Asia to live in India? Guys, they merged with the local population. They settled in the areas wherever they were living and eventually adopted the Indian ways, methods, language, culture, and not only that, even the attire and cuisine, etc., that was also assimilated. So, after that, we will be looking on to the next topic after Kushanas, that will be the Gupta period or Gupta age, right? However, before that, we will also try to understand about the Satavahanas. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, from the next lecture onwards, I will be continuing with the development of the history in the southern India, that is a Sangam period, right? Sangam period, or we will start with the megalithic age, then Sangam period, and then we will understand about the Satavahanas, and then we will understand about the Pallavas. Okay, so up to Satavahanas we are going to do in the next subsequent lectures. So guys, in case if you love this lecture, love this video, then do not forget to hit the like button and do not forget to hit the share as well with your friends. And if you have not subscribed to our channel right now, so guys, please do subscribe to this channel, because every day 4 p.m. I am going to be in front of you with the new topic of the ancient history, and we just discuss the topic very, very elaborately so that you don't have any doubts left in your mind. If you have any doubts, you can tell me through the comment box, and we will definitely try to inculcate that part, or we will definitely try to respond on that particular doubt through our lectures. However, if you are preparing for the next year's 2024 examination of UPSC Civil Services, then this is the opportunity that you can join our morning batches, which are going to start from the 11th of August. And in this batch you are going to see the availability of the general studies coverage, as well as not only that, but also you are going to see the current affairs, the mains specific preparation, and so many other benefits that any student would want in order to clear the examination in the very first attempt. So guys, it is suggested to all of you that you can check the courses and the details, etc., on our application, and the details of the courses and applications that is also available in our comment box. You can click that link, and in case if you are interested to join the courses, you can use this code ASR Live to avail this course at a very marginal cost of rupees 29,999 rupees. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching it. And in case if you want the content of this class or any other content, you can join my Telegram group, which is my Telegram ID here, or you can simply scan this QR code to join the group as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching it. Please don't forget to share this video, this class link with your friends so that they can also watch it. And if you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button for sure. So guys, if you will keep encouraging me, then definitely I will be bringing up such more detailed and analytical videos for all of you. Thanks a lot for watching it, guys. Take care. Bye-bye and Jai Hind.